So now I will discuss my perks alphabetically, and I will go through all of them, and I will tell you why I think they are good. So first, we have the atomic perk. The atomic perk will grant you plus 25% attack speed and movement, which is really good in irradiated areas, and you can use coyote meat potentially as a way of getting this perk temporarily wherever you want. It's a pretty good perk for melee characters, more melee speed. That gives you more critical damage, more damage output. This is what you want. Then it also gives you a bonus to your action point restoration, no matter what, if you got like deadly radiation poisoning. So you want this one. Better criticals gives you 1.5 times the damage for a critical attack. It's essential for a critical build. Now, you have Chemist, which is a very important perk. Chemist will double your consumable effect times. So, let's say Hydra lasts for like 10 seconds, it'll last for 20 seconds here. It pretty much affects everything, as far as I understand. I chose Comprehension because there's a book called True Police Stories, which will give you plus 5% critical chance, but with this, it'll give you plus 10. So it could have a potentially really good effect on DPS for critically based weapons, especially weapons that rely heavily on critical damage. For example, the Abilene Kit limited edition BB gun, which is a nod to the old-fashioned LE BB guns in the first two games. You're going to want that. Now, it has to be taken in combination, I think, with Voracious Reader, because that perk will make those magazines more common. So I think those two perks can be important, but if you don't think they're necessary, I think they are very practical for a critical build no matter what. You might want to take 2 ranks instead of Demolition Expert, because I only took 1, and if you're going to use explosives a lot, if you think they're good and important to a build, especially if you have a lot of carrying space, because you're not taking hardcore mode, you should choose Demolition Expert instead 3 times. I only chose it once. Now, the next perk I will describe is Eye for an Eye. This is a perk that you choose, and if you're crippled for 5 limbs, you get plus 50% damage. Comes with some downsides. Namely, those downsides are a decreased accuracy in and out of VATS and slower movement, annoying movement. But you can pretty much remedy every single issue with this just by taking Steady, which you can get a ubiquitous supply of at the end of Dead Money. Speaking of Dead Money, there's a perk that's a special perk called Elias's Ramblings. You get it by not giving his holotape to Veronica Santangelo, and you want to do this because this is going to be a single player build, no companions anyway, and you really want that damage. It's very important for a critical build. Now there's Finesse, which gives you plus 5 luck essentially, so instead of 10% base critical chance for the multiplier, you get 15%. That is very important for a critical build. Now, there's Handloader, and Handloader will give you access to stuff like a unique 12.7mm ammo. It's really good. You also want a unique 5mm ammo. Basically, it makes your gun oriented combat as good as it can be. And it gives you a fun kind of like custom crafting thing where you're more inclined to break down ammo and make yourself more powerful that way. That's what I do when I show the minigun in this video. It's better than Vigilant Recycler because Vigilant Recycler only gives you plus 5% damage over an overcharged version of any given energy cell. Now, you have Heave Ho, which is just like a practicality matter. It'll increase the damage or range of any weapon that launches something. So you're going to want Heave Ho because you can shoot grenades farther. You can throw grenades farther from your hand. And more importantly, you could essentially snipe enemies with spears, which I think is really funny. Who wouldn't want to be like a tribal sniper? No. Next perk I chose twice is Implant GRX. Bullet time, slowing down time, is really good. You basically, with all the other perks combined, can get a minute long version of this effect, and it's very important to help you survive Deathclaws often. Makes different melee strategies more viable. I mean, I showed in my video, you can take down a whole group of Deathclaws with spiked knuckles. You could even take down a Deathclaw with your bare fist, but there's a lot of DT negation that they do, or they negate your damage with DT, and your criticals with your bare fist are really nothing. So it's going to take you 5 minutes to kill one. Who wants to see that?